Look at this guy.
You son of a bitch.
In the gym. In the fucking gym. Yes. On brand. On fucking brand. Joe Manganiello's back on KFC Radio.
Fucking guy.
Flexing on the haters. Wearing the death saves. Just absolutely the fucking man. How's it going, brother?
Ah, the puppy. Yo, you are, goddamn you, man. I hate you so much.
You're the worst.
You're
the
so
worst.
good looking. You're such a good shape. And you got like the little dog that girls love.
Yeah.
Everything about you is just awesome.
Yep. It's so true.
Oh, man.
Look at you know what it is? Because you do everything. Like, you can play, like, the macho dude, but then you have, like, the quote-unquote nerdy side, and then you got the tiny dog. It's just like, yeah, man, I'm just the fucking best. How about that?
Wow. Jesus. This is, like, my favorite intro to a show ever. God damn it. This is incredible. Thanks. Great to see you guys.
How you doing? You guys holding up well throughout this whole craziness?
Yeah, man. Despite everything, we've been trying to make the most of it. And as you can see, I'm coming to you from Joe's gym, deep within the recesses of Beverly Hills. And yeah, man, my whole life, all I wanted was, I wanted my own gym. And I used to live within walking distance of 24-hour fitnesses, which were not always the best apartments ever. And used to have to listen to lots of complaining from previous girlfriends, who I did not marry, by the way. And, but here I have it, and it's been worth its weight in gold. So this has been something that's been great to be able to really get dialed in. And
are you ever going to get sick of working out?
Am I going to get sick of it?
Are you ever just going to be like, dude, I just want to sit on the couch today?
Sure, I do that. Yeah, I mean, I do that. That's
do.
Wednesday.
Yeah, but
I have a day off on Wednesday.
You don't do it very often.
Wednesday, just one day. It's unbelievable.
It is because I got in shape, kind of, quote unquote, during coronavirus. I was home, and I haven't touched a weight again in 3 months now. Because I'm like, once I look okay in a mirror one time, I was like, well, this job's done. Smash this.
I mean, look, it's like, it depends on the role. I mean, there were like years that went by where I wasn't playing a werewolf or Big Dick Richie or whatever it was, and I didn't need to go that route. I didn't need to do 6 days a week, 10 months out of the year. I wasn't training like a professional athlete. So yeah, I do enjoy that. I'm also the guy that, like, you could drop me off on an island with a stack of books and a hammock and come back and pick me up in a year, and I'd be totally fine with that. So it's like I have a lot of different interests in a lot of different ways, but I do enjoy training. I think I like the self-mastery and I like the masochism of it.
Fellas, this is how you get Sofia Vergara to marry you. I like to read. I like to work out. I do movies. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You say things like self-mastery.
You son of a bitch. You sandbag.
I did not say that on the first date. None of that happened, yeah.
Yo, let's talk about your like celebrity underground D&D game, the greatest Dungeons and Dragons game ever played. It sounds like, I mean, it's you and Vince Vaughn and Tom Morello and DB Weiss. I feel like it's like an underground poker game. Like you got to be like, what's the password to get in?
Oh yeah, big time. The vetting process, it takes months. You got to know somebody on the inside. You've got to come highly recommended. If you created and show ran the greatest fantasy HBO series of all time, I'll put you on the wait list. But it's been a lot of fun, man. It's just a great time. We all grew up playing this game. All of us, Big Show, Vince Vaughn, Tom Morello, me, Dan and Dave. We all grew up playing this game that affected the trajectory of our lives, whether consciously or subconsciously. It was this kids game that taught us how to make a character, how to write a story, how to think steps ahead or in an episodic fashion. And when all these guys who played as kids found out that I was running a game, they wanted to get back in. Like, let me see if it's like riding a bike.
Right.
And then the addiction, the obsession hits you, and then you are in.
So did you actually get, like, you were kind of public about it, and then what, like, these guys, they text you, they call you, you get an email being like, psst, can I get in on this?
Yeah, the equivalent was a bit like, it's like, I'll give you an example. Like I remember taking a meeting over at Sony, and there was an executive. I went in to talk to him about this other project, but he saw me and he went over and closed the door and made sure no one was listening. And he was like, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. It would be like in the 50s, this guy's like coming out to me. You know what I mean?
I got a secret. I got to get off my soul. That's
so
very
as
funny.
soon as I, like went on Colbert,
Yeah.
and was like, first guest 10-minute segment where we just deep dove inside baseball, it just sent out this signal. And then people, now wherever I am, I could be at some humongous, studio executive, party in Beverly Hills, and some huge A-list directors like, hey, so, I was telling my wife about D&D. It's like people they feel like they can talk to me about this thing that when we were kids, we really didn't want to talk about or couldn't talk about because there's so much baggage attached to it.
The stigma, right.
So we actually had a voicemail recently where it was a girl talking about how her boyfriend loved to collect dolls, and they were having a baby, and she had told him it's time to grow up. Not doll, you know what I mean? It's
like
action figures,
figures,
right? And she threw them all away, and like he had a quote unquote temper tantrum about it. And we were like, yeah, no shit, because you took away the thing he loves so much. And I feel like there's such a stigma behind it where like you can't love something that's it's not obscure, but it's a little bit
different
on the more unique side.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think also when we were growing up, there was, the churches were out to get it, parents were out to get it. There were all of those rumors of, suicides and steam tunnels below Michigan State and, the Tom Hanks movie. And so there was this real, like parents taught the kids, this is wrong, this is
Man,
bad.
it was satanic shit, dude. It was.
I very often just nod and agree. I'm not anymore. What are you talking about? Steam tunnels under Michigan State?
Do you not know about this?
No, I have no idea, Joe.
No, so there's a Tom Hanks movie from the 80s that was based upon, there was a kid who went missing for 2 weeks, and the parents had seen this piece on 60 Minutes in which Ed Bradley was like coercing parents into admitting that their children either committed homicide or suicide because of Dungeons and Dragons.
What?
How
No,
mad?
you look it up on John. You can find it on YouTube. It's a 60 Minutes interview, and they go after the guy who created.
I was gonna say,
Dungeons and Dragons,
how mad
every
would you
guy.
be if you're the creator and all of a sudden you're getting painted with the suicide brush? Like, dude, I
Well,
just
well,
like
they're saying to him-
fantasy creatures and shit. Give me a break.
Exactly, and they're saying to him, well, your game is about fighting, it's about killing. He goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, is someone more likely to go bankrupt because they lost at Monopoly?
Monopoly,
That's
right?
fake.
Yeah, insanity.
It's a game, and so, but it had this like this kind of like reputation tacked onto it that was similar to Ozzy Osbourne, and then later and Alice Cooper, and later Marilyn Manson. So it had this like weird dark.
That's the fun. That's the cool part
Exactly.
of it. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
We felt like we were doing something we shouldn't be doing,
Right.
which made us like it even more.
Right.
And so years later, here we are, and it's been a fun hobby that's led to me actually working with the company, writing for the company, writing stories. I've created characters that appear in video games. That they have figurines you can buy in packages that I created.
Wow.
And designed.
Oh, no shit. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
And
That's
you,
unbelievable.
You know, by the way, that you need to make a movie about this, right? Like you and all
Okay,
these guys
well-
as the adult. What was that movie came out recently? Tag, where they all play tag. The adults?
Tag, yeah.
If it's you and the adult guys and they're all A-listers and shit, and you all play Dungeons and Dragons, unbelievable.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're at my house, so we can do it.
Get to work. Did you ever play any of the other? Like I played Magic the Gathering. You ever get into the other like fantasy shit?
Yeah, I Magic came along. I actually did. There was a talk show host where he plays Magic against his guests, and he asked me to come on, and I like hardcore went into training. I found this guy who used to win tournaments. He came over to my house, trained.
Yo,
and
that's so perfectly you.
Yep. like you can't just go on the podcast and play. He had to train with the master.
Well, it's like in picnic volleyball on 4th of July. Joe, why can't you just have fun? It's like, I have fun when I'm winning. Okay?
Love it, man. Speaking of
the
fun.
guy who's going to talk shit because he won a point on me at the net, like, that's not going to happen. Okay? Like, I'm playing for real. Okay? Mr. Junior Olympics has stepped onto the court at 4th of July at Memorial Day. No,
That's a very specific reference.
Yeah, that happens with your neighbor, didn't it? You dunked on your neighbor. Yeah.
I was that dude. It was so bad. It was like, what are you doing? Like, stop it. But I couldn't handle it if somebody would come back at me or clap back at me. Like,
Speaking of clapbacks, the greatest clapback ever was that AEW wrestler saying, I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, and you saying, I do, with the cover of Men's Fitness. Holy shit, watch out.
Yeah, I mean, you get it. It's that fun competitive nature, you know. I mean, as much of a nerd as I was on the inside, I was still a jock.
Right.
And, you know, I was coming from that angle. So I handled things, I think, in that way. And I think there's maybe hopefully an inherent sense of comedy to, you know, guys like you about all of that.
That must be so nice to be like, as much as a nerd I was on the inside, I still look like me.
Well, listen, here's the thing. I write about this in my book. I wasn't the kid, like in 8th grade football, they lined us all on either side of a dip bar and a pull-up bar. And a whole football team had to watch as each one of us.
Oh, it's my nightmare.
Dips to failure, pull-ups to failure. Now, I was the captain of the team. Guess how many dips and pull-ups I could do?
I mean, the way you're selling it sounds like you didn't do as many as I can believe you could do.
I would guess you did 8 dips and 6 pull-ups.
0 on both?
0 each.
Get out of town.
Wait, you said what grade?
8th grade.
8th grade, you couldn't do a pull-up? I mean, I can't do a pull-up now. I'm not talking shit.
Yeah, I can't. I'll do dips until tomorrow. I can't do a pull. I can't do one single pull-up.
Well, so then
I was so embarrassed and so angry that I then
became this.
Yeah, I was just say got famous.
Yeah, like honestly, think about that moment. That's the seminal moment in your life where everything shifted. If you could have done a handful and nobody really reacted, who knows what you are.
Or if somebody would have said, "Hey, man, it's okay."
Yeah, right. You're only 14. You don't have to freak out over this. Relax.
Yeah. You're great. Don't suffer from body dysmorphia. You're fine the way that you are. No. I'm mad. I'm angry. And I went and I found there was a history teacher at my school that I heard trained bodybuilders in the 70s. It's like Miyagi. I went to Miyagi.
Right.
And was like, you're going to teach me karate. You're going to teach me how to bodybuild. Like,
give me that wax on, wax off.
Yeah. And so he's like, come over to my house on Monday night and at 7:00. And I said, all right. So I showed up in my workout gear, ready to go. And he sat me down and pulled out all these charts of the body's muscular system with the skin ripped off and pointed these things out. He was pulling out these medical texts. And I sat there for an hour and a half as this guy just taught me how the body worked and how it responds to training. And training was actually damaging the muscles. And then you need to sleep and you need to eat and you can't drink and you can't alcohol and, all this, has negative effects. And then he said, okay, we're done. I said, well, what do you mean? I thought we were going to work out. He goes, come back on Wednesday. He goes, I'm not going to teach somebody. I'm not going to put effort into somebody who's not going to do it exactly the way that I said. Wow. And he was vetting me psychologically before he'd take me on. And that guy then taught me the basis and the foundation of everything that I knew, to the point where my coaches in high school pulled me aside and they were like, Are you screwing around with steroids?
Wow, that's the ultimate compliment.
Really?
That's the ultimate when you're in such good shape.
And the answer was no. Yeah. And I'm lifting with the wrestlers, and in high school now I've got the they used to give out shirts for how much you benched. And I remember getting my 250-pound bench t-shirt, and the biceps were big. And, it was like,
what's all this word talk, Joe? It's not word.
Yeah,
it's still current now.
The girls noticed
man.
everything changed. Everything changed. My attitude changed. The pull-ups, the dips, those came next. Like I was never going to be embarrassed like that again. And it's interesting that I wasn't at the top. I wasn't even in the middle. I was dead last, and it was like that failure that pissed me off enough to change the trajectory of the rest of my life.
Your entire life. And you know what else changed your life? The fact that that teacher said come back on Wednesday, because that's not how that story usually ends. it's like here's pictures of the human body, and like you're an 8th grader. Usually it ends in a very different fashion.
So talk to me about the new movie, because I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is this deep dark thing and working out and all this shit, but Sleepover seems to be kind of like a funny, easygoing type of movie, which I mean you've been known to do both, obviously, but is it like a switching gears or what?
It's fun. I mean, I'm no stranger to comedy. I've been on. I think at one point I was on every sitcom that CBS had. And Pee Wee Herman, and I've always. I just kind of flip back and forth. I think, you do enough shoot 'em ups and drama, or gut wrenching, emotional drama. Then you want to go do something funny and have fun on set. And, the Sleepover was really fun. It was a script that was on the blacklist, which meant it was one of those scripts to watch. And I read it. It was super fun, very funny. And it was this combination of, action and drama and comedy all wrapped into one. Mm-hmm. So, we could tell this heist story. It's a fun heist in which, for people that don't know, a mom gets kidnapped, along with her new husband, and the kids are left to go find out what happened to her. Why did somebody kidnap our mom? This is great. And the dad is, why is somebody kidnapping my wife? Who are you? And it turns out that she used to be this master criminal, and she then changed her name, went into witness protection, got married, had the kids, had this suburban life, and these, the powers that be force her into doing one more heist. And in order to pull this crazy heist off, she has to go find her old partner, who also happens to be her old fiance, which is me.
And that's where you come in.
Much to the chagrin of her new husband.
I was going to say, worst case scenario, the only thing worse than finding out that your wife is actually an assassin is finding out that she used to be married to Joe Manganiello. That's way worse in my opinion. I would rather you murder 1,000 people than have you be the ex. I mean, forget about it.
So that's the plot of the film. And so we get to do a lot of, there's, fun capers that we get into as we try to pull off and plan this heist. And there's lots of fun action, and the kids are really great. There's a kid in the movie named Max Simpkins, who is also a rapper. He has he's putting out singles, and he's got his own merch, and he's like, this kid, he's great. I love this kid. And he's great in the, in the movie. And he's also, I think he's shooting Mighty Ducks right now, the new Mighty Ducks.
There's
series.
a new Mighty Ducks.
Oh yeah, Disney Plus.
Ooh.
Right? If I believe
is it a
correct?
series or a movie?
I think it's a series, but I'm not 100%
Sign
sure.
me up for anything Mighty Ducks. Yes, please. Yeah. Wow.
So it was really fun to get to work with those kids and have a good time. And I got to work in Boston, which is where my entire family's from. My brother and I are from Pittsburgh, but my family's from Boston. So I know I've got all the friends there. And
why don't you meet us at Kowloon?
I was going to say, I saw that video you talking about Kowloon, and I knew you were from Pittsburgh. I was like, why is he such a big Kowloon guy? Kowloon's the shit. Kowloon's the best.
I've still never been. I'm a New York guy, so I've never been there. But everybody around here is from Boston, and they talk about this place like it's a goddamn religious experience. Andy Wong is like the savior. It's crazy.
Dude, the Kowloon is the shit. It's unbelievable. The food is just as good as I ever remembered it, and better. It's like addictive. It's so good. And and then I got my friend Jay Gordon owns a store called Bodega.
Oh wow. Yeah, I forgot you're a big bodega guy.
So I became a sneakerhead because of my friend Jay and his flagship store, the first store, is in Boston. So
Let me
I would
ask you
take
this.
the kids out
How
to go get shoes.
That's what my brother used to work there when he was in college.
it was a good
Oh,
hookup.
really?
At
Yeah.
Bodega, yeah. Which I mean, it's one of the coolest entrances to any store imaginable.
Period.
When you just go through the Snapple machine, it's
Yeah.
like, all right,
So cool.
now.
You step on the tile in the floor, and the vending
Opens.
machine.
Yeah.
moves,
So
and
cool.
The store is back there.
Did coronavirus, the pandemic, affect your sneaker head life at all? Because I kind of fell off. I was like, I go home now and I look at these, like I have a wall of sneakers, way too many, and I'm just like, I mean, I've been wearing like sweatpants and comfortable shoes for like 3 months now. It's like I used to spend all my money, I get pairs I don't need, and I kind of stopped recently.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is the first time I'm wearing pants.
Right.
in
Right.
maybe 5 months.
Right. It's like I don't think I need 100 pair of sneakers anymore. This is kind of stupid. I barely need 1 pair anymore.
But I'll say this: there were a couple of pairs that I was like, kind of like grail pairs for me.
Yeah.
That were like, if one of those came up and it was the right situation, I would snatch them up. The trick was after the looting and the rioting, a lot of those stores got
That's
hit.
right.
The retail or the consignment market went through
the roof, right?
Because they weren't sure. A lot of the like Flight Club got wiped out.
Right. Shit.
So the prices went up, but there were a couple that I was keeping my eyes on and would always
Did you grab
look
any?
at, and I got them.
You got them? What'd you get?
I got the gray Cause Jordan 4s.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's on the list.
Which are like
Yeah, that's
just
on the
one of those that's just hard to come by.
Yeah.
That was the fastest I've ever. Kevin's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's one I haven't brought myself to pull the trigger on that one. One day I will, and it will be reckless, but I will be happy.
Yeah, so those, and I got a pair of red Jordan 11 band, band Jordan 1s.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta have them. You know,
Yeah,
like you just need it. It's like having a collection of anything else. You just want to be able to like look at them. Stupid, but whatever.
I'm pretty good right now, though. I think I'm in like a good spot where I'm like, I'm good.
Does Sophia ever give you a hard time over them?
Dude, you know how much her shoes cost?
So true. So true.
I mean,
the most expensive pair of sneakers is nothing compared to the most average pair of heels.
but I'll show her. I'll pull out like a pair of like off-white Jordan 1, breads, and I'm like, this shoe is $5,000. And she just can't wrap her brain around that.
She just takes off her heels. She's like, this one's $7. Shut up.
All right, dude. Well, listen, we love it every single time. Thanks so much for the time. And the movie looks great, and much success with everything else.
Also,
Thanks, guys.
the most
Appreciate
well-behaved dog in the his. I kept forgetting
Did you
you
have
had
a
a dog
tranquilizer?
on your shoulder.
He's like sedated or something.
She's the best, man. She's she just ate, so now she's like, she just wants to take a nap, so I can you can do whatever.
What's her name?
This is Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Yeah, Bubbles Rescue, man. So people that are in quarantine, I highly recommend go save a dog. Go give a dog a nice home, especially like people that are lonely. Like a lot of guy friends that are single through Corona. And it's been rough, you know. So I just go get a dog. Go save a dog.
Amen, brother. We'll talk to you next time. All right.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Joe.
I'll see you around.